Democrats are caught lying as Americans are now waking up to reality, with leaders desperately trying to cover their tracks. This is best shown by Chicago as Mayor Brandon Johnson throws a Hail Mary pass to try and avoid working with the Trump administration. You're not going to want to miss this. We got a lot to talk about, but real quick, want to keep yourself informed with Social Security, US, and global news, then make sure to like this video and subscribe.
I mean, they're intentionally lying about what the realities are in the city of Chicago. I remember the White House just mentioned almost 150,000 crimes committed just this year alone. That's insane. What we're seeing now is Democrats, whether it be locally, J.B. Pritzker or Mayor Brandon Johnson or Gavin Newsom, locally or nationally, are in a tailspin. The lies that they have been telling, the American people are not capitulating to.
That was Gianno Caldwell. His 18-year-old brother was tragically killed in 2022, and he was killed in Chicago, one of the cities where local government officials are saying that crime is down. He's had first-hand experience that pretty much says the opposite, and it's not new for Democrats to lie to the American people, but the issue here is that the American people are waking up. Caldwell makes an extremely good point here when he talked about the Trump administration sending the National Guard.
What they're seeing in Washington, D.C., with Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and many others at the helm is results. They know that if they send out what we see in National Guard in many instances and other federal agencies, that we would see reductions. And that same model can be copied to some extent in Chicago and in Illinois. Democrats know that it's been effective. What they wanted was chaos. They wanted confusion. They wanted to see protests and violence occur on our streets and pushback to the Trump administration, but that's not what they've gotten. They've gotten residents who've embraced the actions of our president, and they want to see more of that around the country. That's why Democrats are now trying to act, because they know that this will be a major issue in the midterms, so they're trying to take that issue off the table.
And that's their biggest concern right now. Democrats are already facing extremely low poll numbers, with their own base not even wanting to register to vote for them. That's how bad things have become. And it's because of their great need to always take the 20 side on an 80-20 issue, which is really getting on the nerves of a lot of people, knowing that these same issues destroyed the Democratic Party last November. Listen to what the leadership in Illinois is saying about the possibility of sending the National Guard to Chicago.
We want most of all is for Donald Trump to help us to fight crime with civilian law enforcement. But we don't welcome troops to the city of Chicago. We do not welcome troops to the state of Illinois.
They would rather send the military into our cities and address poverty. They would rather occupy our city with soldiers than allow themselves to be taxed so that we could fully fund education and provide housing for everyone.
So it's like they're both asking and not asking for help, which doesn't help the residents of the city. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt came in hot with the numbers as she talked about what's really happening in Chicago.
For 13 consecutive years, Chicago has had the most murders of any U.S. city. This is J.B. Pritzker's legacy, by the way. For 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities with more than 1 million people. In 2024, just last year, Chicago's murder rate per capita was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City. That's more than double the murder rate in Islamabad and nearly 15 times more than Delhi. Out of Chicago's 147,899 reported crimes this year, that's how many crimes have been reported in Chicago since January 1st. There have only been arrests in 16% of them. These numbers are unacceptable.
Doing the numbers here, that means that they made arrests on only 24,000 of those almost 150,000 reported crimes. And that's just for 2025. There are also reports coming out that claim discrepancies with the reports, meaning that they're probably downplaying the amount of crime that's happening in the city, which leads many of us to assume that crime is literally out of control over there. But here's the best part. Instead of focusing on getting his city in order, Mayor Brandon Johnson decided it was time to get in the way of deportations. Democrats have whined about law enforcement wearing masks to immigration raids. Well, he just signed an executive order to try and dox our federal officers.
We do not want to see tanks in our streets. We do not want to see families ripped apart.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson vowing pushback against White House plans to send ICE agents or even National Guard troops into Chicago.
He doesn't want to see any military presence in Chicago, yet they had 6 homicides just a few days ago. Absolutely insane. And look at this headline that I saw literally a few hours ago. Chicago crime, 11 people shot in just 2 incidents overnight, police say. That doesn't sound like a safe environment, does it? But of course, we need to hear what Illinois Governor Pritzker is saying about this.
Or anyone else. So it's clear that in secret they're planning this, well, it's an invasion with U.S. troops if they in fact do that. The other thing is, they ought to be coordinating with local law enforcement. They ought to let us know when they're coming, where they're coming, if it's ICE or if it's ATF or whoever it is. But they don't want to do that either. And I must say it's disruptive. It's dangerous. It tends to inflame passions on the ground when they don't let us know what their plans are and when we can't coordinate with them.
Kind of ironic for him to talk about an invasion as they're protecting illegal immigrants from deportation. Doesn't make any sense. And the only reason I can see as to why the Trump administration isn't coordinating well with them is because they're probably the ones who are warning illegal aliens of these raids. But that's just an educated guess. What do you think? As always, please let me know in the comments, and before I go, consider becoming part of this amazing community by subscribing and sharing this video with all of your friends. Thank you for your time. Talk to you in the next one.